Welcome to Leadership Bits and Bytes. We're so excited to have another episode that really highlights the importance of leadership and helping to provide insights into how you can be a really great leader wherever it is that you live and work. Today we have a great guest who is going to share some exciting information and insights with us as well. Her name is Milinda Ysasi, and she is the CEO of GROW, which is a Grand Rapids-based community development financial institution that is focused on providing capital and knowledge to entrepreneurs. Such a needed service within our community. Before GROW, Milinda also had nonprofit leadership, worked in human resources at Cascade Engineering, Herman Miller, Spectrum Health. She also served on the city commission for the second ward of Grand Rapids. So it's really served in a lot of capacities. So thank you, Milinda, for joining us and helping us to learn more about the great work that you're doing. First of all, tell us about GROW. What is it, and
Sure.
what do you do during your day?
Yeah. So GROW, it's a 35 plus year organization that is well known here in the community. I was familiar with it in the past, had gone to a lot of their events, but about 4 years ago, the board was looking for a new leader. They really wanted to reset the organization to be a CDFI, or Community Development Financial Institution, because they had this designation. It's more detailed, but from the U.S. Department of Treasury, and it's also through the Small Business Administration, the ability to provide microloans to entrepreneurs in our region. And they said, we're not doing enough with it, and we'd really like to make this a cornerstone versus the cohorts and the classes and the training, which were equally important, but we saw other people who had evolved and were doing that really well in the community. So I think, a test of leadership is always, what is your unique offering? What are you doing differently? How do you collaborate with people? And so we we said no to these things that we were doing that were sort of core to go in this new path to provide loans. And that was in 21, so 22 was the first year of a strategic plan, 23, 24, it's 25. And it's gone by very fast, but really over the last couple of years, we have lent more than $2 million to small businesses. An average loan size this last year was around $30,000. And this year we've just announced a new collaboration with Start Garden, really our region's premier entrepreneurial ecosystem accelerator incubator, to provide loans for those that are part of their Start Garden 100. So we're really excited about that. And this year we're also recognized as the State of Michigan Small Business Administration Micro Lender of the Year.
Wonderful.
So it's been a good year.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic year. Tell me about the role that funding plays in the life of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so we have, at GROW, I've never been in an entrepreneurial space, but about more than half of our team has either started their own business, sold it, are part of family businesses. And so I think they understand the unique needs of capital. And so, entrepreneurs typically need stat capital. So it's the money that they put in, maybe grants or other, free opportunities that come play in the community, our debt capital. And then hopefully in the future, maybe they also acquire some equity capital as well if they, grow their business and there's interest there. And so, about 40% of the loans that we do are for startups, so businesses that have only been in existence for 2 years. So when you say what's that need, it's, I've started this business, I'd like to get more inventory, but I don't want to pay retail. How do I pay wholesale? Well, I need more money. Can you make that happen? I have this business, it's doing well, but the chairs that I have look horrible, and I know people, maybe they're turning away. Can we help purchase some furniture? I have a food truck and it's going well. I'm going to these events, but I need a new vehicle to pull it because my other vehicle is like, a Toyota and it can't, a small Toyota and it can't pull it. And so really for us, we are in the behind the scenes. The entrepreneurs are the ones that are taking all the risk. And so that's why you've seen also a shift and GROW where we're not doing so many outward facing events or hosting different tabled events because our focus has shifted more to a financial institution. And so that means it's more putting our borrowers, who are our clients, the borrowers of the loan, at the forefront. And so what we know from them is that it's hard to access capital. capital is more expensive. And so right now we're offering, and really for the last couple of years, we've offered our loans at a 4% interest rate. And that's been very intentional. We've been able to braid funding that we have as a nonprofit, but also we're foregoing intentionally some of our earned income because listening to borrowers, listening to potential loan clients who said, I don't know that I can afford this. I feel like the interest rate is too high.
Yeah. And so those people who are coming to
Mhm.
you, are there other requirements
Mhm.
that, for them to qualify for
Sure.
those loans?
Sure.
Or is it open to anyone? How
Yeah.
does that work?
Yeah, so as a CDFI, you have typically you have what's called you have a target market, and so for us, our target market is low to moderate income individuals and also Black and Brown, Indigenous people of color. And so in that includes a variety of people. It includes
Sure.
men and women, people who might not identify in a binary gender perspective. It also includes people in a geographic region. So we're in a 9-county region here on the west side of the state. As far north as Muskegon County, as far south as Kalamazoo. But we see most of our activity in Kent County, then probably Ottawa, Muskegon, and Kalamazoo. So that's sort of like who fits into the bubble. Now we do have people who might be outside of that. Every CDFI is allowed to do a little bit of that, and that's a little bit more nuts and bolts of our business. But
Sure.
at the core, we're really looking at individuals' ability to repay the debt, both from their business and also from their personal side. So we use what's called their overall global debt service to understand, and we do an analysis in our underwriting, and then we have a proprietary matrix that helps us to determine risk, and we hopefully we want to view risk in a really positive way. We're working with individuals who may have been left out of traditional markets. So how do we underwrite this? But we also don't want to put people in a loan who do not have the ability to repay it, or we're unsure if they have the ability to repay it. So, but lifetime for our lending, which started in 2012, even though we didn't really do this reset until a few years ago, is under 3%. So in terms of our default rate.
That is great. That is great.
Yeah.
What would be maybe a success story that you would want to share?
Sure. So I think about, mostly because we were just talking about the Start Garden partnership. So last year, we had an individual who won the 100 Ideas, was in the top 10, Marissa Fellows from Great Lakes Tin Fish. But she came to us from a banking partner who said, we've been working with Marissa. She's amazing. She's just going after it. She also has a marketing company. So her marketing and branding was really solid. And she's trying to get capital to start her, the production, but it's coming sooner than some other capital was coming in. Could you guys help? And that was actually last fall. And the funny thing is I met Melissa many years ago, and I had forgotten that I had met her through a women's leadership program through another friend when she was an intern somewhere, and was also part of this book that I had been a part of, an anthology. But she had everything all together. She had gone through this 100 Ideas, was very focused on bringing her brand outside of West Michigan into different regions and really nationally. And so we were able to underwrite her loan for $50,000 in about 3 weeks. And so typically when people think about alternative lenders, outside of traditional banking markets, they think it's going to be less than.
Right.
And for us, no, we were going to have the same level of service if you were to go to any of the named known banks or credit unions in this region. And so, we're still going to ask questions. We're still going to, again, we have to do our due diligence. It's because we're taking on that risk. We want to, for us, it's not about, yes, we're going to get the money back and it'll go back and recycle in community, but we're deploying these monies because we want to see a community impact. We want to see these businesses hire people, retain people, have a great distribution network, add something to their net assets as well. Yeah. So it was an industry I knew very little about. I knew a lot about community, but I didn't know a lot about financial. I have my MBA, but I had never underwritten a loan, and I still don't. I get to go and talk about it and lead the team and work with community partners.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's got to be very fulfilling to watch businesses grow as a result of having that tool at their disposal.
Yes. Yeah, again, the businesses are at the forefront. we want to talk about what we do, but really they're entrusting us, and so that they can go and make these things happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exciting. Well, we're going to take a little bit of a pause, and when we come back for our second half of our segment, we're going to talk more about leadership and how you're leading, as you talked about already a little bit, grow forward into the upcoming years.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks.